Hi guys! Thank you guys so much for watching and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be talking about the best of 2019. These are the best makeup that I found in 2019 and I hope you guys enjoy. And I kind of picked one or two items from each category except for eyeshadow palettes where I picked a lot more than two. So I hope you guys enjoy. Without further ado, let's get started. So for primer, the best of 2019 is the e.l.f. Poreless Face Putty Primer. I love this primer because it is just an amazing primer that smooths out your skin and it feels really good on the skin also. Unlike a lot of primers that had that really gross silicone feeling, including e.l.f.'s original primer, this does not do that. And it also is does blur out your pores very well, and sometimes I would literally just wear this and not even any foundation, and I've gotten compliments on my skin just for this, which is amazing and is super affordable. It's $8 and you can tell that I used a good chunk of it, even though I bought it I think 6 months ago, something like that. And some people say it's a dupe for the Tatcha primer, and I do feel like the feeling is a little different. It's not a complete dupe, but this primer is good enough to be used anyway. So I would say save your coin and get this $8 primer. It's amazing. For foundation, the best of 2019 is this Flower Beauty Light Illusion Foundation. I have it in the color Warm Beige L4. This foundation is amazing because it's like kind of medium to high coverage. It's a dewy foundation, so usually with dewy foundations I don't really think of it as high coverage because most dewy foundations are kind of just like your skin but better. But this one does get pretty high coverage if you layer it, and it looks really good whether you apply very little of it on, like a light coverage, or a lot of it on. I have it on right now and it does fit really nicely, sits really nicely with the skin. And on top of that, this foundation, the L4, it's a perfect match for my skin, which doesn't happen all that often. My skin is pretty easy to match. However, most of the time it would go like a little lighter or a little darker. But this shade is perfect. Like if you are a lighter East Asian person, then this shade is perfect. And on top of that, it's super affordable. I believe it's like $14 and it's just amazing. I love it. The other best of 2019 for foundation is this ColourPop Pretty Fresh Tinted Moisturizer. And I know I just got this like a month ago, but I have been using this non-stop since I've started. I've actually kind of abandoned my go-to, which is this Flower Beauty foundation. I love this because it's kind of like light coverage, but it feels like your skin. It really does feel like your skin. It doesn't sit on top of your skin. You can't really feel it throughout the day, but it does smooth out like the little imperfections on your face. Since I've used it, I've gotten a lot of compliments on my skin because it doesn't look like foundation. It doesn't look like tinted moisturizer. It just kind of looks like your skin. Not a lot of people can tell that this is even foundation, which I think is fantastic. So I love this so far. And also another thing is that it doesn't break you out. It's good for your skin. And I don't know, your skin just feels lighter when you use this. And I love it, even though I just got this like a month and a half ago. For concealers, I got two of best of 2019. The first one is this ColourPop No Filter Concealer in the color Fair 06. I like this concealer a lot. It's high coverage. It sits nicely on your skin. It's good to prime your eyelids with. The only thing I have a gripe about is that this concealer is a little drying. So I've kind of been like moving away from this concealer just because of that. However, it's still a great concealer at a great price. I think it's $6 on the ColourPop website, which is fantastic. ColourPop does have a new concealer out, and I'm not sure how it compares to this, but I've heard really good things about that concealer as well. So the other best of 2019 is this Born This Way concealer. It's an amazing concealer. I bought this at TJ Maxx. There's a couple of it at TJ Maxx right now in the share Fairest. I bought this at TJ Maxx thinking, you know, I wanted to try this concealer forever, and the fact that it's on sale, I'll try it, because at TJ Maxx is like $9 compared to whatever the original price is. I think it's like $20 to start. This is an amazing concealer. It is full coverage, but it sits so nicely on your skin. And it doesn't dry out your skin at all. It just kind of sits there. It blends into your skin. It kind of chills. But it's like, does its job. It is full coverage, which is amazing. And my roommate also got this concealer as well. And then she has the same opinion of this concealer. So if you can get like a nice, clean, bottle of this Born This Way concealer at TJ Maxx, I highly recommend it. It's really, really good, and you can get it at a good price right now. So for highlighters, I also got two. So the first one is the Morphe High Impact Highlighter Illuminator in the color Spark. I think this highlighter is so blinding but sits so well on the skin. I have it on my face today. And it's not super glittery, it's not super chunky, it doesn't emphasize your textures on your cheeks. It just looks really, really good without being ridiculously extra. The only thing I will say is that Spark, this shade, is a little bit dark for me, so I have to kind of blend it out, or else it would just be a streak on my cheeks. But like, I do love the formula of this particular highlighter. And I just kind of found this by chance, which is amazing. So, and I assume it's pretty affordable also since it's Morphe. So, I would recommend this. The next highlighter is the Kaja Mochi Glow in the color 01 Toy Alien. I know I just got this like a month or two ago, and it's amazing. It looks a little awful right now because the highlighter actually fell out of its pan yesterday, and I was like,
to do a video with this highlighter.
But it's honestly amazing. At first, when I first got it, I wasn't a huge fan of it. Like, it's just not as blinding as I want in my life. Like, I want like a nice blinding highlight. But I've been using it for the past month, basically this exclusively, and I actually really like it because it's very natural and it doesn't emphasize texture, but it also does do its job of being a highlighter. Even though it's not blinding, I still really love it. For blush, I also have two. So the first one is this ColourPop blush sticks. I think it's called blush sticks in the color Hen Party. I'm not crazy about the color. Like, the color itself is fine, but I like the formula a lot. This, even though it goes on a little dark, when you blend it out, it's like the most beautiful blush on your cheeks. It looks so natural. It looks like your cheeks are just naturally that flushed and that beautiful. And I like the formula a lot. Like, even though it's a cream blush and it goes on a little heavy and you get a little scared for a second, but the finish looks so beautiful and I love it. The color is fine, but I definitely recommend this formula in general. The next blush that I would like to recommend is this Kaja Cheeky Stamp. I know, again, I've just got these Kaja items like maybe a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago, but I've been really loving it and I've been using it so much. Like, personally, before these two products, I actually didn't use blush because I have blush, but I was just like not crazy about putting blush on my cheeks. It's just not my thing. And then this Kaja Cheeky Stamp really got me using blush because I really like the way it looks on my skin. It has this little cushion on the bottom here, and you use this little stampy thing and stamp it in there and put it on your cheeks. It does kind of go on a little dark at first, but if you use a beauty blender, it works really, really, really well. It just looks so natural and I just really like it. My only complaint about this product is that it's so little. Like, there is so little product in these cushion blushes. So I anticipate running out of this pretty soon. And considering the retail price of this blush is like, I think it's $25. I just think that's kind of expensive, but I do really love this blush though. I do really love it. So before we get into eyeshadows, I would like to do an honorable mention of these little eyeshadow stacks. So these are the Kaja bento boxes in the color 02 Orange Blossom. I've wanted these eyeshadow stacks for like a long time. Ever since it came out, I was like, it's so cute and I really want it. And I was like at the edge of buying it like so many times, but I never did. But I bought this as part of a gift set, a value set, which I thought was actually pretty worth my money. So I just got it. But at first I was kind of disappointed. I was just like, ugh. It scatters everywhere. It sucks. I don't like it. But the more I use it, the more I love it. It's just like such a beautiful shimmer. And it looks like you got glitter on your eyes, which I really love. But at the same time, you can also use it as single shadows on your lid. That is kind of like a little muted with a little bit of shimmers. Just to like kind of accentuate your eyes a little bit, which I really, really love. But it's still intense when the light hits it just right. I had to bring my dog back because he is being a little bitch. He was barking and stuff. So I guess we will do videos with him here. So yes, I love this stack. It's just fantastic. I just love it. It's so good. So let's get into these eyeshadow palettes. So I actually separated these in kind of two categories. So one is kind of like natural eyeshadow palettes and one is kind of more colorful eyeshadow palettes, just to kind of separate them because I just don't think it's fair to compare like a colorful palette to a natural palette depending on, it just depends on the person's preference in my opinion. So for the natural section, we have 3 palettes that I would like to talk about. First is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette. I love this palette so much, you guys. Like, it is like my favorite palette of all time for right now. It's a beautiful natural palette. It has a bunch of different color stories. I'm trying to maneuver around my dog. It has a bunch of different color stories. It has browns. It has your pinky shades. It has warm browns. It has cool browns. I just love this palette. And I actually brought just this with me to Taiwan and I loved it. Like, I didn't feel like I was deprived of any palettes. I didn't feel like I was, missing anyone because this palette got it all. And I just really, really love it. The formula is also super easy to blend, by the way. Next, in the natural category, is this ColourPop Double Entendre palette. This is a very old ColourPop palette. I believe this is like the second palette they've ever came out with. But it's still such a good palette. I didn't buy this palette for a very long time because I was like,
boring brown palette, I don't like it.
And I did end up buying it during one of the sales, I believe. And I love this. This is so beautiful and this is so wearable. Like if I'm traveling and I don't want to take the Soft Glam with me because it's too big or too thick or whatever, I would bring this and it's been phenomenal and I just love it. Okay, final palette of the neutral section, the ColourPop So Jaded palette. I would say this palette is kind of a natural yet not palette. It's kind of got it all. It's huge, it's a big baby, and it's also, I think, the most expensive palette on ColourPop right now. I think it's $40. But it has basically every color you can imagine. Like you can do a very natural look with it. You can do a reddish, yeah, honey.
Yeah, honey.
Some of these shimmers are truly fantastic. For example, Peridot is this fantastic green shifting gold. And I just really enjoy it. And even the glitters I really enjoy. There's opal and there is topaz, and both of them are not super chunky and it has a mix of like different size glitters. So it kind of does look like a starry sky on your eye. And I really, really, really love that. So great palette. Expensive for ColourPop, but great palette. So now we go on to the colorful part of the palette. What are you doing? I don't know. Okay, the first palette, I kind of count these as one because, I don't know, I feel very, the same feeling about both of them. So this is the Menagerie Cosmetic Feral and Whale Song palette. I love these two palettes because they are super duper pigmented. The color story is fantastic. They're super easy to blend. And I just really love the packaging. Like, it gives me a really good like feeling when I wear it. So first is the Feral palette. It's a little beat up because one of the shadows did break. I will say this formula is very, very soft, so please be careful. That's how I've been breaking these shadows. I love the color story of this. You get your pinks, you get your greens, you get your yellows, you get your neutrals, and it makes really fantastic eye looks. And I was obsessed with this palette in the beginning of this year. And when the Whale Song palette came out, I think in April or May, I can't remember, I think it's in May, this palette is beautiful. And I'm not a huge blue palette person, but this palette is fantastic. Like, the color story is fantastic. The formula is fantastic. The shadows are pretty soft, as you can tell, because it looks a little beat up. But I really love this palette because of how pigmented it is, how the color story looks, and I just really love it. And it's also very unique of a palette. Next, for colorful shadows, is this BH Cosmetics Zodiac Love Signs palette. And I love this palette a lot because it's just, I don't know, like, these shadows are fantastic. And I don't know why people are not talking about this palette, because the formula is just fantastic. It's super pigmented, fantastic. Actually, one of my favorite shades in the world is this particular pink right here. It's Aries. But this matte, fantastic. Love it. It's like the most vibrant pink you could ever ask for. And I just love it so much. The shimmers are fantastic as well. And I'm not a big fan of the layout. It's a little big, and hence why I don't use it as much as I should. But I love the shadows, and this highlighter in the middle is bomb as well. Love this palette. Okay, you ready for the final palette that we're going to talk about today, Peppy? Okay, final colorful palette that I would like to recommend is this Morphe Live in Color palette. I don't know the number. I don't know where it is. I don't know. Whatever. It's this Morphe Live in Color palette. I cannot remember what the number is. I think it's L25 if I remember correctly. It's still on sale at the ColourPop. I just dig my fingers into one of the shade. Ooh, okay. God, I'm sorry. So it's still on sale at the
ColourPop.
The Morphe website is still on sale on the Morphe website. This was a palette special for Pride Month in June, and I think it was like 10% goes to the Trevor Project, which I love that. This is a fantastic palette. People don't really talk about this palette very much, but people are sleeping on this palette. This is fantastic. Every one of these matte shades are super pigmented. The shimmers are beautiful, and they also have these really fantastic toppers. There's a couple of them. I think there's two of them. One is Liberation and one is Stonewall. These are fantastic as toppers on top of your matte shades, and I just love this palette, and I've been kind of using it nonstop for a couple months in the summer. It's just a fantastic palette. I don't know what else to say about it. People don't give it enough credit, and it is still on sale at the Morphe website, even though they say it's limited edition. So go grab you one. We're moving this way now. Okay, a couple other eye stuff before we stop this eye section. So for lashes, my best of 2019 is this Ardell Wispy lashes. I know these are kind of basic. I know most people have these lashes, but I've never tried them until this year, and I've been loving them. I'm wearing them right now. They're pretty natural. Yeah, you can definitely make them pretty glam, and they're really easy to go on, and I just really love them so far. It's just been a fantastic little like eyeliner. Okay, for mascara, my best of 2019 is this Etude House Curl Fix mascara, and it's a fantastic mascara. It has really teeny tiny wands, but it has fibers in there that will extend your lashes. It's been a fantastic product so far for me. It does not get on my eyelids, which I love because I have teeny tiny eyes. And it's just a fantastic little like mascara. Finally, setting spray. I would like to go with the e.l.f. Magic Mist and Set setting spray. It smells terrible. It smells like alcohol. It smells like just, it smells awful. It really does smell pretty awful, but it does its job. It does set very well, and it's very, very affordable. I think it's like $3 or something like that, maybe $4. It's just like very nice. Love it. For lips, I have 4 lip products that I would like to give them the best of 2019. So the first one is this Ulta Beauty lipstick in the color Coral Sands, but any of the colors are actually very good. This is a fantastic lip formula. I really like it because it's not too drying, it's a little moisturizing, and it is sits pretty nicely on the lips. It's not it's not transfer proof by any means, but it's a really nice bullet lipstick to kind of keep in your purse, and it is still very affordable. I believe I bought them, I think they're $7 each, and then they do sales on them all the time, which is fantastic. I love this bullet lipstick. The next one is this Pony FX lipstick. I think it's a lip tint. It doesn't say the color name or number on here, but it is like the darkest color they offer. I love this lipstick because its color is just fantastic. It kind of looks very natural on the lips, and it wears very well on the lips as well. I don't know where you could get this, maybe on eBay, because it's a Korean beauty product and we don't sell it in the US. But if you can get your hands on it, I definitely would recommend it. The next lip stuff that I would like to recommend is this Bitty X ColourPop lip, what is it called? Lip stain? Blotted lip. I think it's called blotted lip. I'm sorry. In the color Holly Lolly. I know I just got this a couple months ago, but I've been loving the color. I've been loving the wear. It's just a fantastic little like blotted lip, and I love it. And then finally, the best of 2019 lip is this Kaja Cushy Vibe lip in the color Chiffon 05. It's a fantastic color. It's kind of like a wine rosy red color, and it's a lip tint. Unlike a lot of lip tints, it does not dry your lips out. It does stay on your lips for most of the day, and it just looks fantastic on the lips. Like, it does not crack your lips. It does not look drying. It does not look bad. It just looks good. I love it. So yeah, that's all I have for the best of 2019. Please comment below with your favorite of 2019 as well. I hope you guys have a fantastic 2020. If you haven't already, please subscribe over here. If you have not seen my last video, please watch over here. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.